How has the global financial downturn impacted on the public relations industry worldwide?
Well, the financial downturn did impact on the public relations industry, but maybe in ways other than you might expect. I think it's actually created opportunities for public relations in the sense that there's now greater recognition of the economies and the efficiency of public relations. I also think that we've seen the downturn act as a catalyst for some of the changes in public relations, notably the acceptance and the embrace of social media.
You talk about a communication ecosystem. Could you explain what you mean by that?
Sure. The notion of a communications ecosystem is really something that's been evolving and accelerated with the advent of social media. There was a time when it was possible to manage discreetly the various parts of a communications program. You might have an investor relations program that was focused on Wall Street and financial managers. You might have had an employee communications program focused internally, yet another program focused on customers. These days, those audiences all talk to one another. As a result, rather than managing several discrete programs, we manage all of those interactions with stakeholders as part of a holistic ecosystem.
Is public relations the sole, if you like, controller of that communication ecosystem? Where does public relations sit?
I think public relations is uniquely positioned in the center of that relationship ecosystem, if you will, a communications ecosystem. Public relations core value proposition is the management of relationships between organizations and their stakeholders to mutual benefit. Empathy, an understanding of audience need, and an ability to deliver those needs are hallmarks of public relations. And that's one of the reasons that public relations is so right for the current time.
So does that mean public relations is moving away from the traditional publicity or media relations stereotype that it's had for so long?
An interesting question is whether we're moving away from the notion of public relations equating to media relations. Media relations has been and will continue to be very important and a critical part of what we do. But in many ways, public relations is returning to its roots, managing relationships between organizations and stakeholders, and that includes more than just media relations.
So does that mean it's a fundamental shift from pushing messages as opposed to engaging with different audiences?
Yeah, engagement with audiences is critical, and it's an essential element of public relations. One of the distinctions between public relations and most other marketing communications disciplines is the ability public relations has to listen. Most other disciplines are much more comfortable in what I would ambiguously call a one-way dialogue, the pushing of messages at audiences with the expectation that those messages will be taken on board. Public relations, on the other hand, has the ability to have meaningful engagements and interactions, to listen and then to act on what they hear.
How much of this change is being driven by social and digital media?
Digital and social media is driving enormous change in the public relations discipline. It's blurring the lines between campaigns that might have been focused at different audiences and managed separately. It's creating new ways to identify and engage with communities that are important to organizations. And it's giving stakeholders the ability to tell organizations what they think with the expectation that those organizations will take what they hear on board.
So does this change how we think or perceive different communities?
I think one of the interesting things about digital and social media is the idea that communities formed spontaneously with the advent of the digital age. That really isn't the case. Human beings have had and been part of communities since there have been human beings. What digital and social media has done is enable those communities to come together without regard to time and distance, and for those communities to form much more spontaneously and to have a real-time voice.
So what are the implications of the immediacy of digital and social media and of these communities in relation to issues and crisis management?
Issues and crisis is one of the things that has been most affected by digital and social media. What we've seen is that digital and social media and people's ability to engage instantaneously has raised the bar for organizations that have product issues, that may have crisis. The expectation is that they are going to listen and respond very quickly, and they need to equip themselves to be able to do that.